believe that we could cure pretty much any disease, mental or physical, like this in an instant, in seconds, within seconds. And I believe that there is scientific proof. I don't know why it's not out there. I don't know why people don't constantly talk about it. But yeah, I'm going to talk about it now. So for a while back, I'm really interested in psychology, honestly, and I'm really interested in analyzing different people or gathering information. And a while back, I don't remember, maybe like 2 years back, I was really interested in multiple personality disorder. I know it's got a different name now. Sorry, I should have googled it before I clicked on record. So if you have that, I'm sorry that I'm not saying the right word right now. I know I'm using the old terminology, but it's sorry, English is not my native language. I honestly, sorry. Please forgive me. But anyway, I was really interested in multiple personality disorder, and on YouTube you will find a lot of documentaries on that. You will find interviews from psychiatrists talking to people who have that disorder, and you will also find even people that live with this disorder that have their own YouTube channels and talk about it, and they have their different alter egos. Is alter ego the right word? Alters, yeah. There are different alters coming through. And one thing that I thought was absolutely fascinating is in these documentaries, or even in the interviews, or people telling about their alter egos and how to live with that, something that came up again and again, unfortunately it was always like a small part, it was like not the whole documentary about it, but it was mentioned again and again, is that the alters, the different personalities inside one body, can have completely different like medical records and medical issues and mental issues as well, and addictions. And the thing is, what I thought, if they share one body, and if it's like a physical problem or like a hormonal problem, then all of the alters should share the same thing. How come that one alter maybe has diabetes and the others don't? How come that one alter may have high blood pressure and the other don't? How come that one alter may have asthma and the others don't? One alter may have an addiction to cigarettes and the others don't. And allergies, how come one alter may have allergies and the others don't? It doesn't make any sense, because if you eat something, you have an allergy, there is this physical reaction to it, right? That could actually, worst case scenario, kill someone. But if it would be strictly physical, then all of the alters that share the same body should have the same disease. And I've heard even like saying there may be alters that are blind and others are not, like completely blind, and they share the same eyes. Then it can't be a physical thing. And some need glasses, others don't, and they share the same body. Then if it were just the eyes that gone bad, then all of the alters would have to need glasses. And that is something, that is even, they have different medical records. Some of them may have a thyroid problem and may have to take thyroid medication, and it's prescribed. You only get it prescribed when they check you. I have a thyroid thing, so I have to get my blood checked to make sure I've got the right hormones. And so, and again, I say I shouldn't, because I could manifest a version of me that doesn't. It just, when you manifest, you can't manifest like 10 things at the same time. You focus, so it's on the list, okay? It's on the list. So like diabetes, again, it's something you go to a doctor, you get doctor checkups, you get your medication. So how come that when you get your blood exam, one alter has diabetes and then another alter comes to the front? That is something that takes seconds for one alter to change for another. Again, you can watch it on YouTube. There's people who have this disorder and they change from one alter to the next within seconds. So one alter would have the high blood pressure and needs maybe even heart medications, and then another alter comes to the front and they don't have that issue. They don't need to take that medication. How does that work when you share the same body? So it cannot be the body. Why can one alter have depression and maybe even need medication and the others don't? It doesn't make sense if it's the same body. So it can't be a physical thing. You know, the bad eyes can't be a physical thing. The diabetes can't be a physical thing. The asthma, allergies, high blood pressure, heart problems, all of these cannot be a physical thing. It has to be something else. And again, why is that not out there? It should be out there because, I mean, again, this the shift from one alter to the next. Seconds. It's seconds. So what is changing is that there is another personality, another frequency stepping to the front. And in that moment where they take in a different energy, they can step into the energy of having that physical problem. And you know, also physical problems are connected to other things, of course. I mean, heart problems can be connected to love issues. Liver problems can be connected to anger issues. Kidneys, fear. Lung, again, can be fear. Stomach can be stress related. Skin, again, emotional, something is getting physically underneath your skin. So all of these things are connected to, they're psychomatic, you know, they're connected to our energy. And when we heal our energy or step into another energy, it can technically, and I'm saying technically, vanish within seconds. And that is important for me, that you know, whatever you have, you could heal it in seconds. I'm saying technically because when they shift from one personality to the other, they are a different person. They had a completely different stream of consciousness sharing the same body. So a completely different frequency in the body, okay? And we can't, not saying we can't, it has happened, you know. There's people who had like a near-death experience, for example, and they came back and were completely different. Or sometimes you have a meditation, you get that epiphany and you get a spiritual high and that shifts. So we can have, of course, a sudden shift. It's possible. But usually when we have, for example, high blood pressure and you go to the doctor and you get a medication, the doctor's like, oh, you have high blood pressure. We have the inner belief of having high blood pressure, and we can't usually shift from believing we have that to knowing I don't have it, like this, okay? What we would have to do is overwriting that belief by doing the affirmations or the meditations or the scripting, whatever it is, to overwrite that program. So for us, it would not be within seconds, even though, again, it is possible within seconds. Those people, they show us that it is possible. It happens to them. They can cure their body within seconds. So it is possible. And I'm repeating it because I want that in your brain. It's possible. And if you get that in your brain, then that can help you to strengthen that belief that it is possible, because it is possible. And that would be belief number one. You have to believe it's possible. So watch those documentaries yourself. And again, I don't know why the information is not out there. For me, it was like, I get it. It was so obvious. But those they don't go in that way. They just say, oh, it's weird, the one person is blind, the other one isn't, same body. So they don't really tap into that, unfortunately. But again, even if you watch the documentaries and you see it happening and you hear doctors talking about it, like psychiatrists talking about it, yeah, my patient that I treat, the one alter has this and the other one doesn't. It can help you to cement that belief that it is possible, because again, that belief it's possible it's number one. That's why when we manifest, we want to get into the belief it is possible. I am the creator of my life, and then we want to get into the I have a healthy body, I am healthy, I have a healthy heart, I have healthy kidneys, whatever the issue is. And usually it does take at least 21 to 60 consecutive days to override something. If it's really deep rooted, it may take a couple of months if you do it daily, and if you stick to the mental diet, which means you, even if you take your medication, you're like, oh, that's old news. I remember I used to take my medication, but now I don't. You put it into the past right away. That is something like, you take the pill. I remember I used to take the pill, but now I'm perfect. I have perfect blood results. My doctor's telling me, oh my God, it's a miracle. Or you would visualize a conversation with your doctor telling you, oh my God, it's a miracle, I never had that. Someone who had this specific thing got over it, or got over it that fast. Wow, it's amazing. How did you do that? I mean, it's incredible. You could hear that conversation over and over and over and over again to override the old concept of yourself. So again, for us it might take a bit longer than seconds, but it is possible within seconds, and they prove it. Why is it not out there? Again, that it may be my limiting belief, and maybe something I need to work on. But I believe the system doesn't want it out there. And again, my limiting belief, and I know that's something I need to work on. I can tell you where I am right now, because I am in this timeline where there is a lot of diseases. There may be time where that's not the case, but I am in this timeline right now, and I manifested being in this timeline. But I believe the state, they get a lot of money from the health system. All of the pills and medication they prescribe, it's what's bigger than billions, more than billions, dollar, euro, whatever the currency system. Okay, they get rich by people not being healthy. Okay, again, it's a limiting belief. And I am actually working on this belief, and I'm going to do another video on Corona someday when I feel guided to do so. But it's my limiting belief that I need to overcome. It's that the system is trying to control us, and I know where it's coming from. And I'm going to get more into that in the Corona video. But for example, I'm a typical Aqua Moon. Okay, I like to have my freedom, and I don't like people. I don't like authority figures at all. So when you have experienced as a child that there were authority figures, teachers, parents, other relatives, whatever, and then you have the inner belief like there is a power that's over me, and when you're a child, your teachers are over you, they have more power than you, or your parents or whoever. And that creates the inner belief, like there is this power over me that is trying to control me. And when you're an adult, you don't have, maybe you have your boss over you. I'm self-employed because I have a problem with authority. I could never work for someone. I need to be my own boss. But that could transpire into having an overpowering boss, for example. If you didn't heal that wound of being overpowered as a child, and that could also of course being translated into feeling overpowered by the state, like the state is trying to control you. And if we believe that limiting belief, or if we heal that limiting belief, and I'm not actively working on that, but it's I'm working on it by constantly reminding me, no, the state has our best interest at heart. Like parents, even if you haven't made that, I haven't, but even if you haven't made that experience, like your parents, people who had made the experience, like their parents always had their best interest at heart and loved them, and they were kind and nurturing, they probably don't have the inner belief of the state overpowering them, because that is not in their system. But if you have made that thing, that would be in your system, and that is one of the reasons why I believe Corona is out there right now, why many people feeling like overpowered, like you have to get the vaccines, you have to wear the mask, you have to do that, you're not allowed to do that. And there is timelines where Corona is not a thing. I manifested being in that timeline for that reason. And then there's another reason I'm going to talk about in the other video. I didn't manifest that timeline for myself because I'm scared of Corona or scared of being sick. That's not my thing. I manifested it to mirror me back that issue of problem with authority, to heal that wound. That's what I am in this timeline currently. And again, there's like several things when you want to manifest that you can't focus on 10 things at the same time. So for me, it was not the top priority right now. But whenever I think about the state is doing that and that and that, I'm reminding myself, no, the state has the best interest at heart. They want to keep everybody healthy and safe. And if I just repeat that long enough, someday I will believe that, and then I will jump to the timeline where that actually is the case. And maybe it is the case, I'm just not experiencing it, because in a timeline, there could be same things. Like there are people who are having this experience in this timeline as well. It's just my personal timeline. I feel the restrictions that I don't like. But because of my own old inner beliefs, and I believe those inner beliefs are why information like I just gave you, you can heal yourself, is not out there, because then it's $1 billion industry that doesn't want you to be healthy. But when you get into manifestation and spirituality and awakening, you realize, hold on, it's your own choice, it's your own conscious decision that determines what experience you make. Stepping back to answer another question, we were talking about different energies, like healing stuff like this. I want to tap more into that. Would I believe that if you are sitting in a wheelchair, unable to move, can you manifest walking again? Well, technically yes. There is, if you watched or read The Secret, there is actually someone talking about that who has experienced that. They were paralyzed and doctor said you were never going to walk again, and then he did. So yes, if you can vividly imagine yourself walking, then there is the timeline where that is possible. However, it might take a while, because if you experience, if doctors tell you you're not going to be walking again ever, of course you believe doctors first, right? And you would have to override that belief, and it might take a while. If you believe in manifesting, you have already manifested a ton, then maybe you know that you have that power that may be quicker for you then, of course. So I believe you could manifest that as well. Again, I don't know about timing. Maybe it takes 5 years, I don't know. Maybe for another person it takes 5 months, I don't know. It also depends on how strong your belief is that it is possible. That determines how long it would take. And would I believe that, for example, if you lost like an arm, a limb, if you could grow that back? Technically, I believe yes. Practically, I believe that would be very difficult. The growing back, I don't know. Maybe I've heard about a case where somebody manifested their arm back and the bone kept growing, but it was intense pain, so it got cut off again, and then it kept growing and then cut off until that person stopped manifesting that because it was intense growing pain. what I believe is that it would be possible to jump to a timeline where that never happened. And I get more of that in the video, Can I Manifest Someone Coming Back from the Dead? Because I think that's basically exactly the same message. Can I manifest to regrow a limp? I wouldn't want to manifest regrowing a limp. I would try to manifest jumping on the timeline where the loss of that limp never happened. I would revise that memory and try to get and visualize myself being there. However, it's a tough one because it's a very deep-rooted belief you would have to overwrite. So I would advise you to first learn more about manifesting and manifesting other things, and by that way proving to yourself it is possible to strengthen your inner belief in yourself, and that could make it easier to make that jump. So I think it's technically possible, yes, practically difficult, and absolutely depending on your inner, like, do you want this? Do you believe it's possible? You know, if you believe 100% it's possible, then it's of course way easier to jump to that timeline. So I think that there is a limitation if it's like really regrowing a limb or regrowing, I don't know, one of your kidneys was removed, regrowing your kidney. Is it possible? I do believe it is, but it's not the easiest task. I would start with smaller things, manifesting small things to train yourself that you have a lot of power, and then to maybe try to do that big thing. But anyway, that was my video for today. I hope it resonated. If it did, please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and check out my other content. It is my intention to help you grow, to ascend, and ascend with me. I mean, we're still on our journey, right? I always say, people always talk about awakened. I know that's off topic now, but I don't want to be awakened, because awakened is something that's done. I don't want to be done. There's more, there's so much more to explore, and I just want to ascend more and more and more and more and more and more and more for the rest of my life. I don't want it to stop, but still I want it to happen in that speed, or maybe even faster later than what's happening now. I'm feeling I'm ascending in a rapid speed, but again, awakened, there's not one awakening, it's different levels. And would you ask me, I would say yes, I am awakened, but not completely. There's so much more to learn. So we ascend together, and there's always more downloads to come. There's always more things to learn, to explore, and I don't want that to stop, because that would be boring. If I stop ascending, I could just drop dead, because I don't know, the meaning of life if you don't want to grow and expand. Anyway, so let's grow together. Yeah, I wish you all the best.